So many people have asked me if I could come up with a good way that maybe Venom can be part of the MCU. Now, of course, this comes on the heel of a bunch of Venom talk in the last year or so, let's say. And just to quickly sum it up, there's been yes and no's that Venom is part of the MCU. Amy Pascal, the woman in charge of Sony and Spider-Man over there, said yes, he's connected. Kevin Feige wasn't offering an exact answer. People over at Collider said, oh yeah, definitely, he's going to be appearing in it. Peter Parker's gonna be in Venom. It's Tom Holland, and now people have asked me, can I come up with a possible theory on how this might work and how I think it will happen if it's true. Now, one thing people should know is I don't have any insider information on this. I don't know. Much like when I made my video years ago about the Fantastic Four coming into the MCU, I just presented the evidence and I said, look, Disney's going to make a partnership with them or buy them out because logistically, this is what's going to happen in the next couple years. Many of you looked at that and said, wow, you were right like 2.5 years before it happened. And I said, well, you just kind of have to look at the stocks and how they're talking about these various things. So I'm not saying that what I'm telling you right now is going to be what happens, but if I was to do it, this is how I think it would be handled in the smartest, most logical way I can represent. So first and foremost, we know that the next Spider-Man movie is called Spider-Man Far From Home. It's coming out summer of next year, and we know that this fall we're getting Venom, starring Tom Hardy. So how I would do it is I would have Peter Parker show up in Venom. You never have to acknowledge that this is the Peter Parker from the MCU. People will just know if they pay attention. He's there in the company where they're experimenting with the symbiotes, where they're doing those tests, and he kind of wanders off. Maybe he falls into something or falls over or something pricks him or something, and a piece of his DNA ends up falling in with the symbiote. And that's really it. Now, why is Peter Parker over in San Francisco, where Venom takes place? Well, as it so happens in Spider-Man Far From Home, we know that they recently confirmed it's a global movie. As it turns out, one of their stops, instead of just London, and instead of France as part of their field trip, was San Francisco, where they wanted to check out the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, they went on a side project to check out this facility, which was offering, free tours of it, let's say. And they went there, and that's what Peter Parker was doing there. In Spider-Man Homecoming, you can show it from the different point of view and then explain that, oh wait, Peter did fall, maybe he got a cut and some of his blood did get there. That's why Venom is going to have some of the properties of Spider-Man. He's not going to necessarily know or even be a part of Peter Parker, but when it goes across his blood, that's how he kind of makes that connection. He sees that the blood is different, adapts some of those spider properties, and ends up having those spider-like powers. To me, honestly, that's the easiest way to explain it. If it's truly in the MCU, like many people have been saying it is, then wouldn't that just make the most amount of sense? He's going on field trips in his upcoming movie. He's on a field trip to San Francisco. There's your connection.